Cyberpunk was absolute garbage. This game did not work at all. It didn't even start up properly. So I, like many others, skipped this game altogether. But you see, a lot has changed since then. The game received a ton of updates, and there was the Edge Runners anime, which lived up to its name since it made everyone run to the edge of their seat. And after all the hype and a huge disappointment, now this game is a completely different beast. But perfect. What changed? Well, glad you asked.
Together!
Gotta find a mate.
See, Cyberpunk has always had this one major issue with it which made players not play this game for a long time, and that is not the glitches or bugs, it is the design. For instance, power-based clothing. It's when your clothing gives you certain bonuses like nerfs or buffs. The problem is, when you do this, players will always wear the piece of clothing giving them the best defense and bonuses, which means they're almost always gonna look like a trash can. Now, this works in Destiny 2 because it's all armor no matter what, so you never really look bad even if you tried. But Cyberpunk is an RPG where you play as a regular guy in Night City. You will be wearing stuff like jackets, hoodies, and caps. It's not armor exactly, so it would always ruin the immersion as you would go around running looking like potato chips while in reality you're packing a sleeper build. Now, this is no longer the case. Now you get armor by installing better cyberware. You know what this game is all about in the first place? So, not only will your cyberware turn you into a superhero, but they will also give you the best defense that you used to get from a pack of paper on your face. The cops of Night City used to be the spy from TF2, appearing out of thin air and shooting you in the back. If you ran away, they would never chase you. So you could get a 5-star wanted level with the FBI knocking at your door, but then just move away from the door frame, lil bro, and they would be like, huh? Must have been the wind. Needless to say, it was unfinished, and so it was yet another thing that needed to be changed completely in order to call it fixed. In update 2.0, they actually addressed this issue and gave the wanted system a total overhaul. Now Max Tac, basically the military from GTA, will come and hunt you down. And also like GTA, in order to escape the NCPD, you have to get away from the crime scene and also make sure you stay away or out of the radar of the cops. Do that and you'll escape the cops of Night City. Funnily enough, the city has so much crime happening that the entire map has these checkpoints where you can go and stop the crime yourself, and the NCPD will give you eddies, the dough of Night City. Cyberpunk is an open-world, dialogue-driven RPG. If you have ever played previous CD Projekt Red games like The Witcher 3, you know that yapping is 99% of the game. Just kidding, please don't kill me in the comments. But where Cyberpunk lies is how personal the story is, which makes you really focus on your decisions and pay attention to what you will say to whom. One of the things that really captivated me was how much replayability this game has simply because of how the story is played out. Depending on your gender and your choices, you will get to have some good time with your preferred NPCs. And now you can even take them home. I chose Panam, and after taking her home, this happened.
Come here.
Oh, stop. The City of Dreams. I'd gladly kick the balls off the idiot who thought that one up. Slick moves, V.
But by far, the biggest change the game received is the removal of bugs. Night City can now be finally explored to its full potential. It still feels like the game can push a lot of boundary with more updates, but regardless, it's great. Instead of people T-posing and disappearing into thin air, Night City is now a fully living and breathing dystopia. Okay, maybe it still has some bugs left here and there, alright, I admit. But now if you go and talk to someone, it works. If you shoot a gun, it works. Walking, running, swimming, fighting, it all works. But the combat has also been affected due to the other mechanics receiving a complete overhaul. Apparently, you could accidentally just dismantle or sell iconic weapons that you could find in your playthrough, but this has been fixed. You can no longer dismantle these weapons, and when you try to sell them, the game will give you a confirmation that you're trying to sell an iconic weapon, meaning you can no longer accidentally get rid of iconic firearms. To be honest, I don't know how they could let you sell the damn thing in the first place, since it's like getting rid of an exotic in Destiny 2 with just a click of a button. But better late than never, right? So you look cool, you're good at combat, but what else has changed? The skills. Some key features and the mechanics are locked behind skills, and depending on what kind of build you have, you will put your skills in those points. This is very much like Dark Souls, where you only put points in certain attributes because you want to have a specific build. In Cyberpunk, you can re-spec, which is basically resetting and putting your skills in different areas. Doing this allows you to have multiple playstyles, but you cannot respec fully, and you can also do it once every playthrough. But I actually really like that, because it restricts you to have one certain playstyle in your gameplay, and it promotes more gameplay. If you could respec infinite times whenever you want it, then you would just do that every time you get the chance, and depending on the mission and the gigs, it would be very cheap and a hollow experience. So, putting your eggs in one basket is actually not a terrible idea at all. The max level you can reach is 60, but there are a total of 100 skills in the game. So, as my understanding goes, you can never have all skill points in one playthrough. Correct me if I'm wrong, as I know you will, but then again, that makes sense, as it makes you feel powerful while not making you completely overpowered. Cyberpunk was released on both the last generation and also the current generation, which meant a lot of the game's potential was held back due to the limits of last generation technology. That's why CD Projekt Red did the actual right thing and decided not to support the last generation anymore. Yes, they did put out updates as they should, because people still paid the same amount of money on last gen as they did on current gen and PC. But the new Cyberpunk DLC, Phantom Liberty, did not come out in old generation, and I actually checked it on their website. The DLC is only available on the PS5, Xbox Series X, and PC. Also, when I said old generation updates, I meant some updates. Huge updates like the 2.0 version of the game is not on the last generation, which shows how this game was never a last generation game. They should have never put this game on an aging hardware, but saying it is what it is and moving on is cheaper than going to a therapist. And this is, in some ways, is still disappointing, as the game never really lived up to the last generation promises. But I assume that most players were smart enough to realize that and never really bought the game on last generation. But if you are someone who actually bought the game on the last generation, thinking it will be the same experience for you as for the rest of us, then I just feel bad for you, buddy. I don't know what to tell you. But what I can tell you and feel happy about is that I finally have a Patreon. Become a member on Patreon and join my YouTube channel to get early access to my videos and some behind the scenes stuff. Also, the main Cyberpunk video will be on its way. Just thought I would give you guys something in the meantime. With that being said, thank you for watching, Choom. Perfect Enrager signing out.